recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
He's in tune. Hey, good day. Welcome to the Great White North. I'm Bob McKenzie. This is my brother Doug.
Welcome to Machino Music, the show that puts the music in Machino music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. Today on Machino Music, it's my 10 favorite Canadian bands. I'm obeying my Canadian content laws because the RCMP is about to come take me away. Good afternoon, everybody. My 10 favorite Canadian bands. Yeah, it took me a long time to do that. I realized, you know what? Here I am in Canada. Here I'm sitting in Canada, and I've never talked about my favorite Canadian bands. I will these American bands. I mean, I'm breaking the law. Canadian content laws. That's why I can't get a show. Thank God for YouTube. I can't get a show on Canadian TV just because of the Canadian content laws. I go in, they tell me to get lost. I pitch the show, and tell me to get the hell out of here. Because, it's not Canadian content. Hell, we got all these laws, but YouTube, you don't have to do it. But, I thought I should talk about my favorite Canadian bands. Being a very bad Canadian, not doing so. This guy comes after you. The RCMP, the little hamster. He plays them. He's like, should stand for the anthem. I was saluting. Back in school, we had to stand for the anthem every morning. Yeah, he needs new batteries too. He's whirring. So yeah, my 10 favorite Canadian bands. Actually, I had somebody in the comments once tell me that I have a very Canadian accent, a Great White North mouth glitch. Really? Have I talked to the McKenzie brothers? I try not to. Do we talk like this, eh? Welcome to Machino Music, eh? I don't talk like that, do I? I had an Australian girl tell me that I had a very Canadian accent. It's like, really? You're the one who talks funny. You have an Australian accent. It's like, go poach crocodiles. I'll be over here drinking maple syrup right out of the jar. Yeah. But yeah, I guess so. I am Canadian, and that's why I'm talking about my 10 favorite Canadian bands. And to be I'm going to be a bit of a Stanley spoiler and just say that Tragically Hip is not on here. So if you're Canadian, you have to have a Tragically Hip. I'm never a big fan of Tragically Hip. I know, I'm sorry. I am a bad Canadian. Not breaking Canadian content laws. And I don't like the Tragically Hip. I'm sorry. I also don't really like Bryan Adams. I mentioned that before. I haven't had much time for Bryan Adams. So, yeah, just spoiler alert, those are not on here. But here are my 10 favorite Canadians. These aren't ranked any particular way. I'm just going to talk about them. They're numbered. So, number 10, how about Triumph? Gotta have Triumph. Great band, power trio. To me, I always felt they're kind of like almost like Canada's Van Halen. They're kind of a big stadium band, and they crossed over into the States. They made some noise over there. I mean, some of the music channels here on YouTube, a lot of them talk about Triumph, so they were a pretty big band. Also, Rick Emmett, the superstar guitar player, great player. I believe he still teaches at Humber College, where I went. Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't know if he was there when I was going there, but he does teach there. He teaches music, which is really cool. And actually, my dad and my uncle, they went to school with with Rick Emmett. So that's pretty cool. I've always kind of have like, that's cool. He's like right here in Toronto. So yeah, so a bit of a very kind of loose, lame claim to fame, family connection to Rick Emmett, because my dad and his brother, my uncle, went to school with Rick Emmett. How cool was that? So yeah, gotta have Triumph. Another kind of weird sort of cult band, gotta have Max Webster. Yeah, really like Max Webster. Kim Mitchell on guitar, he did some solo stuff. So, I mean, it's sort of like, you could call them heavy metal, but they're not really. They've got a bit of prog. They're a very strange band. There's some music channels here. They kind of made a little bit of noise in the States. You got some music channels here that do mention Max Webster, but they're kind of like a bit of a stranger band. Not many people know them. Even really in Canada, you don't even really hear their songs on the radio very much. You still hear some Triumph a lot. That's actually used, but they were kind of in the same kind of thing as Triumph, kind of that. But and superstar guitar player Kim Mitchell, he actually hosted. He was a radio DJ here on Q107, a big rock station here. Really liked him actually as a DJ, but yeah, it was like kind of a strange band, but really interesting. Got some really cool albums. Not a big discography, but yeah, I do like some Max Webster. Very interesting band. Another one I got to mention here, another strange band, but I don't know, I haven't put them on here. Killer Dwarfs. Yeah, really forgotten band, kind of in the glam metal, hair metal, whatever you want to call it. They were kind of because they kind of stayed on a little bit longer here in Canada before grunge, believe me, like you had a bit of a more time to kind of got a few more years out of glam metal. But yeah, Killer Dwarfs were kind of a very strange band. They had an album and song called Stand Tall, which I've never seen the music video. They're like making their own album. It's like, okay, it's really, they have great sense of humor. And then in the background, they got like posters like Pee Wee Herman and the Wizard of Oz. Like, all right, there's some connection there, but yeah, I do. Kind of strange band. Their album Dirty Weapons, I love. That's a fantastic album from 1990. So yeah, we got kind of it's before grunge, but we still got a few more years. But like as I said, yeah, love that album. So yeah, I gotta have Killer Dwarfs. Next, I'm gonna go Nelly Furtado. Love me some Nelly Furtado. Yeah, I know if it's more like an artist, not a band, but I wanted to put her on here. She had the big hit. The big one for her was "I'm Like a Bird." That was a big one. I was on TRL, MTV. We had Much Music. It was all over Much Music. That was our Canadian MTV. Was Much Music. We also had Much More Music, which was our Canadian answer to VH1. Those channels have all ceased to exist. Although Much Music's still around, they just play movies all the time now. No more music videos, just like MTV. At least we play movies. We're not playing just like stupid random reality shows. But yeah, Nelly Furtado, great. She also had her big album was the album Loose. Some big hits off of that. Promiscuous, Maneater were big songs. Although she kind of had to take had to kind of step away from it because she would kind of be pushed in this direction that she didn't really be like this sort of this sex symbol thing. I mean, she wanted, but she started getting pushed too much in that direction. I believe that, she needed some time away. Say It Right is on that. Oh, that's a fantastic song. Say It Right. Oh man, why isn't that song? That should have been a massive hit. It did some it made some noise. But yeah, that's a great tune. I love Say It Right. I'm going to be doing a Nelly Furtado album ranking one of these days.
One of these days!
Yeah, that's one I really want to do. Yeah, Nelly Furtado. Give her some love. All right, next I'm going to go an all-girl band, The Beaches. Really cool. It kind of reminded me, when I first heard them, kind of reminded me of the Donnas, who I love. Great retired all-girl band. But yeah, the Beaches kind of like went, oh hey, I got like a replacement for the Donnas, and yeah, they're really cool. Kind of a bit of like more of like just rock band, but like kind of be called a bit of a punk band. Really cool. Got a really funny, got a really sense of humor. They got the song T-Shirt, which is the first song I heard from them. Great sense of humor on that one. Although they had that one album, like in song, they're kind of like talking about their exes, and the big single was called "Blame Brett." Great. Finally get my name in a song, and it's a negative song. So kind of a bit of a bone to pick with the Beaches for that one, even though it's about she had an ex named Brett, but my name gets in a song. I can never find my name is never in anything. Those toothbrushes that had the name that never could find my name on the toothbrush. Those little license plate keychain could never find my name on the license. You know, I get my name in a song, and it's a negative song. Great, but still love the Beaches. It's a fun song. And their most recent album was called No Feelings. Fantastic album. Really like that. One of my favorite albums of 2025. Yeah, the Beaches, all-girl band. Check them out. From the Beaches area of Toronto. That's where the name comes from. All right, next I'm going to go April Wine. A band that kind of successful in the States, didn't make a lot of noise, but they were, pretty big band. I mean, the Guess Who were kind of really sort of the big one. I like the Guess Who, also Bachman Turner Overdrive. Those could be like honorable mentions. I do really like others, but more like the hits. And I think I could have swapped out and take Killer Dwarfs off, for God's sake. I wanted to mention Killer Dwarfs. I think I could have put Bachman Turner Overdrive or the Guess Who, and I probably should have. But, yeah. But April Wine was kind of in that, kind of like, they're just a very straightforward rock band. Another one you can kind of say maybe kind of sort of heavy metal. They had that song Roller, which has been used in a lot of movies. Used in Joe Dirt. That's the David Spade movie was using that, so I think probably the most famous usage of it. Great song, kind of a very kind of driving, like almost like AC/DC kind of like rock song. Borderline heavy metal. Really cool. That was kind of their biggest hit. But yeah, April Wine, kind of song, a band that didn't really make it huge, but they're pretty big in Canada. You still kind of hear their songs on the Canadian radio here. My nose is itchy. Got an itch. It's fluff's flying all over the place here because of these like lights and stuff. Itchy. Problem. So excuse me while I pick my nose. Now my head's itchy. Fluff's flying all over the place here. Alright, next I gotta go. Another one that's like an artist, but so I'm including her. Shania Twain. Love me some Shania Twain. Gotta have Shania Twain. She's just an icon. Just love her. Just writes. She's a great songwriter. Beautiful voice. I mean, her ballads. I mean, nobody can write a ballad like Shania Twain. So good.
I'm a maker of love songs, a chanteuse.
Yeah, did my Shania Twain album ranking. That was a lot of fun. Really happy to do that one. Yeah, just got some really good songs, really good albums, and of course she's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, just dig her. God, itchy. Yeah, but love Shania Twain. Had to have her on here, even though she's kind of just not a band but an artist. But just like Nelly Furtado, had to have her on. All right, next I'm gonna have DOA, Canadian punk band. Love DOA, fronted by Joe Keithley, or as he's famously known, Joey Shithead. Yeah, crazy band. The first song I heard from them was World War III, which is actually a song I think about like daily and have for quite a few years. Wow. That was from 1979. Record came out in 1980. Fantastic album. Something Better Change. Again, they've been saying Something Better Change. I mean, that's the name of the record. Their debut album. It's like, man, there's this band from Canada, from Vancouver, British Columbia. And they're just like, had this song. They never got like really huge. Although they did, I just learned this recently. They coined the term they call like for punk, like hardcore punk. That comes from DOA, this band from Vancouver, British Columbia, from Canada. Because their second album was called Hardcore 81. So hardcore punk comes from that. How cool is that? So DOA did make some big impact. And yeah, they actually, I think, have one of the greatest Canadian albums ever recorded. A song called called Kings of Punk Rock, Hockey, and Beer, I believe is the full title. It's great. They do a cover of Taking Care of Business. Really fun. And they do a version of the Stompin' Tom Connors, the hockey song. Yeah. It's all about the most Canadian things. I don't drink beer. I'm not a beer drinker, but that was a big spit I just did there. I don't drink beer, and I'm not a big hockey fan. But you kind of have to sort of. At least I can watch hockey. I can get in, but I don't drink beer. I'm not a drinker. I think I mentioned that before. This is information you don't care about. Another thing that kind of makes me a bad Canadian, I guess. I would like to tragically hip when I would drink beer. Why am I telling you this? You probably turn this off. You don't care about me just talking to you like this. Okay. All right, we're in the top 2, everybody. Not that these are ranked, as I said, but I'm going to hype it up. And I'm going to go the band. You have to have the band. The band are great. Have one of the greatest concert films ever, directed by Martin Scorsese. The Last Waltz, so fantastic. Some great singers in there. Levon Helm, the first person I ever saw like singing and playing the drums at the same time. I thought that's amazing. I love his voice. And also Richard Manuel. Wow. Just great players. And just like, I think one of the greatest, not just Canadian bands, but one of the greatest bands of all time. The Band. I love The Band. Yeah. So good. But my number one, these would be my number one, and this is kind of inspired me to do this. I mean, I have to talk about Rush. Rush. Love Rush. Rush is a great band. Probably the biggest of all of these bands that really kind of they're the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're like one of the biggest bands, and again, for a while they were kind of a sort of a cult band, but they just broke right through. They're totally mainstream now. Yeah, just love Rush. A lot of the channels here on YouTube, some goof like me talking about music, a lot of them mention Rush as one of their favorite bands. Yeah, I remember they were going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were nominated. It was last year they did their sort of the fan vote thing where you could actually vote on it. It would actually work, but you could do it where you could just keep pushing the button and just keep voting over and over again. It was after Rush where I think they changed that because they realized like people like me were just pushing the button over and over. We got to get Rush in. And then they changed it and started fudging the numbers where they take there's like a cutoff point, and then they take like whatever was, they like max it out like at 100, and then they count that to their votes and their committee and their people, so they're fudging the numbers. But it worked, at least how I sort of believe. That's my sort of conspiracy theory about what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's doing. It worked for Rush. That was the last time it worked. So Rush got in because of the fan vote, because it was people like me, Canadians, and the Americans who are fans of Rush got them in there. Love it. Love Rush. And they're going back out on tour. They said they weren't going to go back out. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson said they weren't going to go, but you can't fill Neil Peart, the late great Neil Peart, one of the all-time great drummers. But they found Annika Niles, her new drummer. She's fantastic. She got a lot of videos here on YouTube. She's really good. So nobody can fill the shoes of Neil Peart. But if they're going kind of like the tribute thing, like kind of like we're just going to sort of pay tribute and sort of like an anniversary thing, then hey, why not? She's phenomenal. I think she'll do a really good job. Those videos for her playing the Rush tunes, the Neil Peart stuff. I mean, she's not playing them exact, but she's you know, at least paying tribute to it enough, and also adding her own thing to it. It'll be interesting to see. Be interesting to see how she fits in. It's like, but it's really cool. So we're getting more Rush. Maybe we'll get a new album. Who knows? Yeah. Had to have Rush, such a great band. And all these bands, my favorite Canadian bands. Again, if you didn't hear your favorite Canadian band, you can't believe I didn't put on the Tragically Hip, or I mentioned the Guess Who. Anyway, but yeah, these are my favorite Canadian bands. I'm Canadian. If you're Canadian, or you're an American who likes hearing Canadians talk about Canadian things and Canadian bands and Canadian music, whatever your thing is, I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying good journey.